You know what, family? Um, so sometimes you have to think to yourself, looking back on your life, why certain things didn't work out for you, why certain situations happened. And when you really think about it, it was all for the greater good of your life. And I feel that a lot of times the biggest issue that we have, men and women, is that instead of fighting, like, instead of going to battle for each other, we go to battle with each other, right? And you have to stop and think to yourself, why is that? Why does it seem like it's this constant battle of tug of war between men and women, of who's this and who's that and who does this and who does that? Think about it. And I've become a lot more wise throughout the years when I had a spiritual awakening, and just a lot of growth that I've had in the past 4 years, and I understand now why it's something that plagues us as men and women, and it's past trauma, our past trauma resurfacing, because when it really comes down to it, all we all really want is love and respect. We all want that best friend, somebody that we can count on, someone that we can rely on, somebody that sees the greatness in us, even when we're not our greatest. And every one of us was born into sin. Every one of us was born, with a lacking heart of, not being a perfect human being. That's all of us. None of us are perfect, right? But you have to think, a lot of us grew up without proper love, or with feeling abandoned, or going through trauma, or going through situations that cause us now in this season of our lives to manifest that into the physical, right? And it all comes down to self accountability, right? You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. Instead of trying to say, I did this and I did that, and put all the needs and wants on yourself. If we can truly learn to love ourselves, we would stop seeking so much love and validation from others, first of all. Because it takes us to truly love ourselves and who we are, and know who we are as a person, and hold ourselves accountable in order to truly be able to love somebody else. Because if we don't see the flaws in ourselves, if we don't see the weaknesses that we have, if we don't see the things that we do that trigger us, that brings out the trauma that we have been through, then how can we truly love somebody else, right? And it really comes down to not being able to allow somebody else to love you. It's because when we go through things, we reflect that trauma onto others. When in all reality, it's just, if we can learn to love ourselves and cultivate that love and peace within ourselves, then we can truly allow somebody else to love us and allow ourselves to love them in the most purest form. But the problem is a lot of times we are looking for love from somebody else. And I think that that's where it's going all wrong, is we got it backwards. Yes, we should be able to get love from other people, but the root of love comes within, with you and God. If you can truly learn to love yourself, then you will be easy to love. You wouldn't be so difficult to love. but we're trying to seek love from other outside sources. When love comes within, love comes from the heart, right? If love comes from the heart, then where does that start? The heart starts within, right here within your spirit. And the only way for you to truly love yourself is to understand who you are. And who are you? Have you ever stopped and think to yourself, who am I? I am God's child. I am created by the Creator. I'm made in His image. So my love comes from the source. When you connect, when you plug into that source above, you plug into that source, God is love. So He will begin to purge you on the inside. He will begin to pour in that love that you came from. And then you will start to release the negativity, release the trauma, release the things that you have been through, and pour in that love from the source. And when He makes your cup runneth over, you are now a walking representation of God. You are a walking representation of love. And when you become that, since you are love and you love yourself because you realize who you are and whose you are, now it becomes very easy for you to love somebody else. Because you love yourself, you know who you are, you know where you get your love, you know where you get your peace, you know where you get your energy. You know that no matter what happens outside of you, whatever circumstances happen outside of you, that your love, your peace, your abundance, your joy comes from the source. So nobody can take that away from you. You get what I'm saying? And it also makes you easier to love. You know, and I believe a lot of this starts with men. You know, and I believe that is the reason that, you know, a lot of the world has become so chaotic and more weak and emotional, is because they've been attacking men and masculinity in men, because we were built to be masculine. We were built to be leaders. We were built to be providers. We were built to be the hunter, the gatherer, the protector. We were built this way. Us as men were built this way. It started from the very beginning this way. The women took care of the household. The women took care of the babies and stayed home. They didn't even used to want to work. They didn't used to work. That their job was to stay at home, take care of the home and the babies. Now, if women want to work, that's fine. It's whatever, right? But you still have to go back to the roots. How are we designed? How did God make us? Right? He made us to be this way. And, you know, the men have to learn to cultivate this. As a leader, as a man, you need to plug in to that source. Because the only reason that you feel the way you feel, the only reason that you lack, that you feel lack, that you don't feel fulfilled as a man, is because you don't get that love, you don't get that peace, you don't get that strength from your source, from your creator, from your provider. You are a creator, you are a provider as a man, so you must plug into that. You must plug into your creator. You must plug into your provider. You must plug into the man that made you a man. And that's the part that you're missing. And it's so easy to get distracted out here. That's what they've been trying to do to us for years and years and years, and it's always worked. It's always worked. Because they have made you addicted to being a consumer. a consumer. That's why, all men love football and basketball and baseball, and they created all these things that you're consuming. And I'm not saying it's wrong to watch these things on occasions and this and that, but you have consumed your life with these entertainment things instead of plugging into the source. They are keeping you distracted from your power as a man. And I believe that if men become more powerful and lead by being led by the source, that would change the entire world. That would change the woman dynamic as well. Because women are no longer being led by kings. Women are no longer being led by God. And since they are designed to be led by men, to be led by strong men, to be loved by strong men, to be protected by men, since we aren't plugged into our source as men, they don't feel protected anymore. They don't feel loved anymore as women. Therefore, they are seeking that validation in outside sources. Hence why you see OnlyFans so popular. Hence why you see social media so popular. Or why you ask why women post these pictures are half naked or this or that. Understand that it's because of this, that they're seeking that love, they're seeking that attention, they're seeking that validation in an outside source. When yes, women need to plug into God too, because they also need to come healed. But I believe that if men would come healed and as leaders first and wouldn't accept anything less than that, that women would naturally adapt to that and become their greatest version of themselves as a woman, because they see the leaders, they see the men moving in that energy. But since they see us acting wild, moving around, acting in lust, cheating, lying, broken, unhealed, emotional men, then they're going to adapt to that environment. Us men need to step it up. We have to be a walking representation of God. And I believe that would fix many, many problems, and it would make love and abundance and peace much easier. So I got to go to work, man. I love y'all. Stay focused, stay positive, stay blessed. Salute.